Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Faded Chronicles. It is me, Daddy Steve, and today's topic is E3 2018. I want to go over the experience co-streaming the event with other broadcasters, why the E3 conference matters to broadcasters or content creators like myself that are in the gaming industry here, if you will. And then my personal impressions or takeaways from the E3 event this year. So that being said, we're going to get right into it. So this year with E3, I really wanted to get more involved than I was last year. So last year I had barely started streaming when E3 rolled around. So E3 2017, I was a brand new streamer, had no idea what I was doing, but I wanted to be involved in the event last year. Obviously, I had no idea what I was doing, so it was a complete disaster. Basically, I watched the event by myself, which is totally fine. But I remember the experience last year. I remember how I wanted to be involved with that event because it's been something I've followed since I've been a young kid, and it was something that I've always admired from afar because it is one of those moments where the world stops and looks at the gaming world and say, okay, these guys are pulling out all the stops to announce all these amazing games that people can come around and root for and get excited for. And so it's always been a special moment for me. I like how like magazines such as Game Informer and Electronic EB Games in the past, like other media outlets rated the event in the past, and they picked winners and losers for each E3 event. So I always thought that was fun. And then there was always the console wars between Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. So I mean, you always had that going on too as well. So there's always someone to root for, especially if you're a console player like I was back in the day. I was a huge Sony fanboy growing up, and then switched to Xbox in my teenage years, and then I think I've slowly gone back to Sony. And now I'm just abandoned consoles altogether, and I'm a PC guy. But I still appreciate the event for what it is and what it brings. And it's just a ton of fun and a big hype fest for all people that care about games. This is like the moment of the year that we all get together and celebrate this thing we love dearly, which is gaming. So I wanted to get involved more than ever this year. And so what I did was I reached out to a couple of friendly broadcasters that I've been in contact with over the past year and asked them if they wanted to co-stream it with me. Obviously, Twitch allowed us to co-stream the event this year, which was pretty cool. We got to add our commentary over the presentations that were happening. The format we went with was very similar to some of the bigger guys. We talked a little before the conference started for the major conference. We basically co-streamed the conferences, and then right before conferences started, we would give our predictions on what we're expecting, what we're most hyped about, what we don't care about. We would interject throughout the conference as it was going on to add our color commentary, if you will. And then at the end of the conference, we would rate how we thought the conference went, what games we were most excited for, and things like that. And we did that with each and every conference that we covered. And I think in total there were like 8 or 9 conferences. So it was a big event that lasted many days. I think it was from Saturday to Tuesday if you count Nintendo's conference. So it was a long process, a lot of commitment from all the guys involved, but at the end of the day, we did it. I would say it was a mixed bag as far as success is concerned, but I was excited with what we put out there. The guys were committed to being there. We had different guys on different days show up and provide their input and their opinions on things. I felt like we had good exchanges as far as not talking over each other or respecting each other's opinions. Like, I thought that was really good. So I think overall, I think this was a great learning experience for us. It went as smooth as it could have with such short preparation time. And we look forward to doing it again next year and really improving the process and the quality of the E3 event itself, for us co-streaming, that is. I really did enjoy co-streaming, and it made another bond. It made our bonds with one another, me and the broadcasters that I did it with. I feel like it made our bond a little bit tighter. Like, I feel like we all got a little bit closer because of the bond that we developed throughout that process. And I felt personally proud of the thing because I was the one that initiated it and asked guys to join me to do the co-stream, and they were totally on board and willing to do so. So it felt good that people were receptive to joining me and doing something that maybe they haven't done before, or maybe they're out of their comfort zone doing. So it was really awesome to see that develop and that transpire. So again, I think the relationships with those folks that did the co-stream with me has been strengthened. If at a little, if at the very worst, it's been a good exposure. It's been a good exposure for me to work with other broadcasters that have a different delivery of their message, or just different frame of mind as far as like gaming is concerned in that regard. So it was really awesome. I love meeting new people. I love seeing different perspectives. So I couldn't have asked for more. There are things that I want to do better next year. Obviously, I want to get hype around it sooner. Because I did it so last minute, like literally like days, like a day or two before the event started. It was really hard for me to get people hyped about it in time, and obviously I didn't give my people that were co-streaming with me enough time to let their audiences know as well. So for next year, we're gonna let people know well in advance, at least a month in advance of what's happening, and then we'll do a countdown up into E3 to get everybody hyped for it and make sure all the audiences know that they can come hang out with us, and they can enjoy the show with us as we do it. And I think there was a few technical issues on my side as far as not knowing how to mute a co-stream, because the way you capture is a little bit different than I'm used to. So learning that process was a fun learning experience doing it live. And so like all this stuff should be ironed out next year. I want to have an overlay. There's so many different things I want to do for the event next year that I look forward to making the stream a lot better for everybody. And I think everybody will enjoy it better with it being more professionally done next year as well. And maybe even have like a little script or talking points for us to go off of. That way we can fill dead air, which again, there was no dead air, thankfully. Like everybody that participated had a lot to say. So there was really no dead air. And whenever we weren't talking, we were listening to the conferences, obviously, so we didn't want to talk over the presenters. But overall, like I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to work with me on the E3 event, because they all had something to say and they were all very opinionated on the process, which is exactly what I wanted. So that process was great. Can it be better? Heck yes. Will it be better? Heck yes. And I look forward to doing it again next year. So you're probably wondering right now, though, why does E3 matter to broadcasters? Why would I care as a broadcaster about what E3 provides? Now, the obvious answer is that it's a really popular event for people who are gamers. The other obvious thing is that they do game announcements there as well, and that is true. But say you only stream like one game, like say, for example me, I stream primarily League of Legends. I stream that 4 out of the 5 days that I stream. So why do I care about all these game releases if I'm primarily playing one game that's been out for years and I already know like the back of my hand? Why would I care about such an event like that? And I'll tell you, it's because of the potential to jump in on new games that may have the potential for growth opportunity, coupled with an awesome time and experience for yourself. Why wouldn't you want to seize that opportunity if there's a good fit for yourself? Now, I'm not saying I would abandon my League of Legends community tomorrow, because that's not the case. I love League of Legends and it'll always be my primary game. But if there's an opportunity for me to work in other games in my streams, then I would be stupid not to look at those options. And again, it has to be a good fit for you as a broadcaster. What games that might fit me may not fit you, as far as like your preference or style or your skill as far as like PvP and stuff is concerned. So it just depends on the person and what you're interested in and what you're good at. And for me, the biggest thing is finding a game that has a nice rewarding loop in it, that doesn't get stale, that is popular, obviously, and exciting for others, and I can play with other people. Because my part is, my biggest piece is that I like to play games with other people. I don't want to be isolated. And yes, I will play the game by myself a lot of the time, but I do want to have the option to play with other people, and as many people as possible. So I want the game to be popular. I want the game to be able to have the ability for me to play with others. So like single player RPGs are fun, but they're not games you develop a community around. For the most part, because it's just really hard to really engage the community on that level. Additionally, again, you want to catch a game on the way up. So think about all the people that jumped in on Fortnite at the ground level and have grown with that game. Think about all the folks that have grown with other games like Realm Royale. It's a new battle royale game that's out right now. This recording is like June 18th, I believe. So. June 19th. So if you're watching this later, you're like, Realm Royale's not new, it's old as hell. This video was made on June 19th, so just so you're aware. Realm Royale is pretty new. I think it's like a few weeks old, or like maybe a month old. And people getting on the ground floor of that are potentially going to see exponential growth in their communities. So again, being aware of the games that are coming out, paying attention to the E3 conference is in your best interest as a broadcaster, because it lets you know what's on the horizon, what the trends are, what people are looking at, what games people want to play, and then potentially if your game goes belly up or is no longer being supported, like a lot of games that are out there, then you can switch to one of these games that fits all the things you're looking for in a game and is also popular. But if you're not doing your research now and you're not planning for the future, then when disaster strikes and your game is no longer supported, like Lawbreakers, if anybody was a Lawbreakers streamer, like what are you gonna do? You know, like you have nowhere to go. Or say like you got tired of League of Legends and you just hated League of Legends. What do you do? What do you do after League of Legends? Or even like Destiny 2. A lot of people got burned on Destiny 2. Destiny 2 was an okay game, but it wasn't what everybody expected it to be, and a lot of streamers felt kind of lost for a moment, and then obviously they migrated to Fortnite for the most part after the fact. But again, there are people out there that were still lost, even though like Destiny 2 is not a terrible game and they're making a comeback, but it wasn't the game that many people expected. It wasn't as popular as many people expected. So I mean, you have to prepare yourself, because you never know when the next Lawbreakers, they just completely stop supporting the game, or the Destiny game is where like it doesn't live up to expectations. You got to prepare yourself for things like that, so that way if you need to jump ship, you have a life raft in another game, and you know what's out there, you know what the trends are, you know what people are looking for, and you can jump on that. So that's why E3 is important to you as a broadcaster, because if for any reason your primary game vanishes tomorrow, you know there are games that you could play today that would still interest your audience, or that would still interest any audience, and you would be okay and be able to maintain your community or grow a new community as quickly as you did your old community. Another thing that another reason E3 matters to broadcasters too is because it gives you a chance to, if you ever get to go to the conference in person, and you are a sizable broadcaster, you can obviously interact with developers and sponsors like that make peripherals, gaming parts, and all these other things. So it's a great networking opportunity for broadcasters if you actually are able to attend the event in person, and you do have some clout. I mean, you're not going to go there as a new streamer, obviously, because you're not going to have, no one's going to care about you because you have nothing to offer these companies in return. But if you're a streamer on the rise and you're growing pretty quickly, you're growing at a really fast rate, and you go to one of these conferences, you could potentially run into somebody that could change your life and make you even more successful than what you already are. So I mean, those are the benefits for broadcasters as to why E3 matters, and why any real gaming event like that, industry event like that, where announcements are made on games that are coming out or games in the pikeway, or just like trends of gaming. It's really important to understand that. So with that being said, I want to give my impressions from E3. I want to give you like high level impressions on the best and worst conferences, where I think the gaming industry is headed, and what games I'm most excited for. So for E3 impressions, a conference, I'm not a fanboy at the end of the day, so let me just state that very clearly here. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a homer for Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo, or PC for that matter, if that is technically a thing. I go and support the best conference out there, and it's regardless of games that I play or not. So if the game is good, or they do a good presentation, then I think that's how I would rate it personally. So for example, my favorite conference from E3 was the Ubisoft conference. I think the Ubisoft conference was by far the best conference and most well put together conference of all the conferences that were there. And by no means do I play any of the Ubisoft games. I think there's maybe like 2 games that I'm interested from that conference. But as far as the way they put that conference together and presented each and every single game and got the audience hyped for things, I thought they did a brilliant thing. And then coming out at the end, all the people who had presented, all the game directors and creative heads that presented, they all came out together. They applauded and they bowed together. It was something from a musical. It was amazing. On top of that, they had 2 live performances. They had a stunt with the Trials game where the guy comes in on a dirt bike and he breaks something. I mean, it's just some wild stuff that they did. They had live performances, like I said, the orchestra. They had like an orchestra like piece for a DLC on Mario and Rabbids. I mean, it was just off the wall stuff. Like, and even DLC stuff they got people excited for just by bringing out the orchestra, or for like Just Dance, like a game that's really hard to like promote and advertise. They had a live performance for that. I mean, that was really cool. Those are the things that I look for in conferences. Not only are you here to show games and say, hey, this game's coming out on this date. You're there to entertain your audience. You're there to get people excited about your products. And I think Ubisoft was head and shoulders above the competition this year as far as getting people excited about their products and doing it in a professional way. Another thing I liked about the Ubisoft conference that I didn't see any other conference do was how they rolled out every single game that they presented. So first and foremost, they would go over the game trailer. They would show a game trailer. Secondly, the person who developed the game, either creative head or studio director or whatever, would come out and discuss the game with the audience. And then thirdly, they would show gameplay of that same game in action. And they did this for every single game that was ready to be shown, except I think Beyond Good and Evil 2. That one didn't have a gameplay, but it had a super long cinematic trailer. But the way they did that for every single game that was available was perfect. This is exactly what I would ask for in any conference. Show me a trailer, give me some commentary from the people who made the game, and then show me some actual gameplay. If you could do that checklist on every single conference, like, all the conferences would be amazing. Sadly, that wasn't the case with many of the conferences, but Ubisoft did it the right way, and I hope more people will follow suit next time. The other thing I liked about it too was the theatrics and the performances that they put on. You have to entertain your audience. A few years ago, Sony did a whole orchestra piece to kick off their E3 conference, and I thought that was ridiculously amazing and over the top, but it was awesome. This year they did some similar things, but they kind of fell flat. It was not well put together. It seemed like there were some technical issues throughout the whole thing, so it was a nice try, but really poor execution by their teams to execute on the idea of what they were trying to get across. But again, Ubisoft definitely my winner for the E3 2018 conferences. And then my favorite game from the conference that I'm hyped for was Fallout 76. I mean, there are some honorable mentions. Cyberpunk 2077. Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, obviously those are huge ass games that I'm excited for, but we don't know when those games are coming out. So as far as games that are coming out, I'm excited for Fallout 76 the most. I can't wait to play the game in November, and we'll see what the future holds for Fallout 76 and all those broadcasters that jump on board early and get in there and show the world the game. I'm hoping it's an amazing game. It has multiplayer aspect. And it looks like it's going to have a really nice and healthy game loop to where the gameplay doesn't get stale over time. So yeah, Ubisoft, my favorite conference. Fallout 76 by Bethesda is my favorite, it's my most anticipated game. One of the things I wanted to talk about as far as the conference is concerned was games as a service. It really seems like they're focusing hardcore on games as a service, more so they have in the past. I mean, I know this has been a trend that's been going on for years. They've continued to do that trend again this year. Really looking for the online space. They are really shoving the games as a service to the consumer. It looks like they're really steering clear of single-player games, with the exception of Bethesda, obviously. Bethesda kind of has a stranglehold on the single-player experience, and even Bethesda is steering towards the online multiplayer realm, with Fallout 76 being their second ever like multiplayer game, if you count Elder Scrolls Online, which is an MMO, which is a little bit different than 76, but that's the same concept: multiplayer games as a service, ongoing, not necessarily a single player one-time thing, you know. So the whole industry is like headed towards that direction. Also, the other thing that I noticed too is that we're getting ready for another change in consoles, so we're going to get ready to jump to the next generation. And there's been some rumblings about just everything being like on the cloud, or or not even on a console in general, that you can just play games straight off your TV, even your smart TVs and stuff. So stay tuned. The future with technology and gaming is still not completely certain. We don't know which way it'll head. It looks like there's going to be a lot of innovation in the coming 5 to 10 years. And it's really going to impact how we play games and how our audiences play games. So I'm curious to see how that goes in the future. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I don't. This video is kind of running long, and I don't want to make it too extremely long for you. I hope you get something out of this as far as doing events with other people and co-stream, because it is a fun opportunity. If you ever get an opportunity to co-stream something with somebody, please do it. It'll be good practice for you and also a good networking opportunity. Additionally, make sure you pay attention to the gaming industry. If you're broadcasting or content creator, if you're a broadcaster or a content creator who is doing primarily game related stuff, the expectation is that you know what's going on in the gaming world and you keep up to date on that stuff. So make sure you're paying attention to conventions. You know what's coming out. You maybe even know some of the developers' names, even if they don't know you personally. You know who they are or what they're about or what games they've made. It just helps you to set yourself up for future success. And lastly, I freaking love E3. I thought it was awesome this year. So many great games are coming out, even games that I will probably never play. I would still watch those games we played. I will still be excited for those games, because a win for any game is a win for the gaming industry, and it's something that I'm just passionate about, so I'm excited for it. I'm curious to know what you guys think though about E3 2018. What were you most hyped for? What was your favorite conference? What was the least favorite conference? I know everybody was big on Smash. I think there was like a bazillion Smash Brothers fans. So let me know what your favorite conference was. Let me know what your most anticipated game is, and any other tidbits you took away from the conference as far as what direction the gaming industry is headed. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you please like, share, and subscribe. And tell a friend. Let your friends know about it. And if you want to hang out with me even more, you can always check the social media information down below. I'm on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific time. I am on Twitter like constantly and daily. That goes with Discord as well. We have our own Discord server with nearly 200 members. We have a Facebook page. We have a Steam community. I mean, we have almost everything that you could ask for. So anything you're looking for, please check it out. I would appreciate any and all support that you show to our community here. And again, if there's any suggestions on how I can make my videos better, please let me know. I am in the works on getting some video editing software, so bear with me. I did just upgrade my camera, so if you've noticed that the camera quality has improved, it's because of people being so generous with support of the stream. I was able to afford to upgrade the webcam that I had, so now we are in 1080p for once. I hope you enjoy the quality of the stream, of the video. Let me know if you like it or if you can tell the difference. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate your time. Have a good night or a good day wherever you're at in the world, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye, friends. Bye.